Welcome to the Instagram stories for Monday, June 6th. I'm your host, Daniel Hill. Hope you had a good weekend. You know what we do on Mondays. We talk about what the head of Instagram, Mosseri, talked about on his Ask Me Anything. Really great questions this week. I feel like it's been a while since we had some good questions. The first one, can I sell NFTs on Instagram yet? Great.
No, you cannot yet. We are working on building up our NFT presence. Right now, we're just starting with the ability to showcase NFTs, but over time, we want to make sure that you can buy, sell, resell, and all the rest of it.
As a reminder, there are 10 creators who you can buy NFTs from on Instagram. I will link to the list in the show notes. I don't know any of the names in the list, frankly, except for Gary Vaynerchuk, and you can definitely buy an NFT from him. Maybe you already have if you're into his stuff. Next question. How do you determine what kind of reels you show in my feed? This is a really great question because the reels that I see in my feed are typically not reels that I'm interested in at all. Here's his answer.
The whole point of feed is to try and find the very best things on Instagram that you might be the most interested in and connect you with those. So we try to show you reels, if you're interested in reels, and ones that you're going to find entertaining or funny or going to help you connect with friends.
Not really sure how I feel about that answer. I don't think it works that way, frankly. Next question. Is there an optimal length for reels versus stories versus feed videos? This is a very good question.
There is no silver bullet, but I have found with my own Instagram, but also if I look at the overall data, that shorter videos tend to do better. But every audience is different, so you have to try and see what works with the people who follow you.
It's funny, I've definitely heard people say, and I agree with this, that typically the best performing reels are under 10 seconds. However, I have had really great experience with longer reels as well in that 20 to 30 second range. I think you definitely do need to experiment. Don't forget that Instagram is adding the ability to do 90-second reels. You may or may not have that already, and that would be another factor to think about. So he's right, experiment. We're going to dive into a couple more answers, but before I do that, here's a quick word from our sponsor. The Instagram Stories is sponsored by #Slayer.com, the easy Instagram hashtag tool that's all about saving you time and getting more views on your posts. I'm a big fan of this product. It's a family business, and I am very proud to use this app. You can start growing at #Slayer.com and use coupon code IGStories to get your first month completely free. That's coupon code IGStories. And we're back. Next question. Should small businesses use Reels more? I would think that the answer to this question would be yes, since that's what Instagram is clearly rewarding right now in the algorithm as much as possible. Here's his answer.
Not necessarily. I think whether you're a business or a creator or just anybody, you should be using Instagram based on what you want to get out of it. Maybe you just want to discover cool stuff. Maybe you want to tell a story, and maybe if you want to tell stories, video is the right way to do it, but maybe it's not.
Not really sold on that answer, but I'm not going to argue with him. Next question. How will Amber Alerts work on Instagram? If you missed me talking about it on the show this week, Instagram announced Amber Alerts based on location. Here's his answer.
So if there's an Amber Alert in your area on Instagram, as you're scrolling through feed, you will get that information, text, image, etc., right there in line. What we're trying to do is help keep kids safe in any way we can.
I like that concept. I think it makes sense. Good idea, whoever thought of it. And the last question we're going to talk about, is it better to do Reels rather than other posts for reach? I would say generally the answer is yes, unless you just really don't do well with video and absolutely hate it. But even then, I still think you should try. Here's his answer.
Depends on who follows you and what they're interested in. If you're a photographer, probably not. Probably best to post photos. If you're a comedian and you make short, funny videos, then Reels are probably your thing.
I don't agree with this. I've seen way too many Reels that have maybe 30 photos where they flash by in a second or a half second each. So if you're a photographer, just make a reel with all of your pictures. Why wouldn't you do that? I don't know. We can debate it another time. That's going to do it for today's show. Thanks for listening. If you could do me a favor, I've been working on my Reels game. I posted a couple over the weekend, one of which did much better than other Reels that I've posted recently. So if you could check that out, it is a montage of video footage that I would like to be used in case I ever pass away, which at some point I will. Everyone seemed to think it was funny. I hope you like it. Let me know what you think. Thanks for listening, and be sure to come back tomorrow for more Instagram news.
I'm not yet a member of the Instagram team, but my podcast covers many Instagram themes. But the name, image, logos are trademarks at Instagram and the LCC in the USA and every territory. Everything I publish independently until Zuck returns my DMs and starts to pay my salary. Not sponsored or endorsed, no lies, no fallacies. I use their logo with permission, not malicious or callously. No trademark violation, filling all criteria. Follow me on Instagram or Twitter at Daniel Hill Media.